Hello, again. Nice to see you all. AC Keeble here. I've had a very busy week canvassing for the Conservatives. I've been across 3 constituencies, would you believe it? It's been very, very exhausting to me, so there's a lot to catch up on, and with this video we're going to be talking about aspirational Aspies getting their support from autistic conservatives such as myself. And well, I thought I'd start by telling you about what has been going on in the world of my autistic conservative advocacy. Last weekend I was canvassing in Romford, handing out into overdrives with all the usual positive and active vibes about what it means to be an autistic conservative, wearing my blue rosette complete with my autistic conservative badge here. And well, whilst my MP and candidate for Romford, Andrew Rosendale, has been doing his best, going shouting down the megaphone, going back Boris, back Brexit, support Andrew Rosendale as your MP for Romford, I've also been doing my own routine, shouting out things of my own work for autism acceptance, and by going autistic conservatives support aspirational Aspies and support conservatives for aspirational autistics. It's been really great fun doing it, and the responses that I've had are quite positive. Earlier this week, during one canvassing session, I was out delivering in Dagenham, and I met with this woman who was a Labour supporter and had an autistic son. She saw my badge and was very interested in how I could be an autistic supporting Conservative supporter. What she couldn't get her head round was when I got into a conversation with her about how giving the right of self-determination for ordinary people by reducing the government and giving people with intellectual abilities on the spectrum their own freedoms, they can become whatever they want to be and achieve the things that they can to the best of their intelligence and their abilities. I told her some examples, and yet for some reason she was still a little bit miffed. She couldn't comprehend how government dependency or giving creative freedoms for individuals could help the disabled. Well, in that respect, she's probably seen so many examples of disabled people, and especially autistics, who are welfare dependents, that, well, all this need of a backstop from the government to help you means, well, you have to have government handouts to push your agenda. Well, that's not always the case. The real way to make autistic people succeed in life is to reform the job market, making it acceptable for autistics to work in a comfortable and productive way, like easily and well-organised workspaces, well-designed sensory spaces so that they're not overwhelmed by too much or have a lot of strong lights and heavy sounds in their work environment. And well, government dependency is not always the key, because in doing so you are putting your happiness in the hands of the government. Well, I put my happiness in my own hands by thinking of things which could benefit me, rather than rely on the work of others to give me that happiness. I can show people how to do it without the government, because let's face it, the state has no way of making it themselves for us. It all has to be made by us as individuals ourselves. The independent work of others is, of course, how we survive. One example of my own ways in which I intend to achieve my own happiness is to provide business development grants to ordinary people, disabled people or other autistics, so that they can launch their own businesses to make their own lives worthwhile, and to show the value of it means to be autistic intellectually, rather than portrayed as a usual disabled person. One of my friends, who's a counsellor, even agrees with me, and she gave this in response to one of my statements with this. She's had a lot of her clients seem to place responsibility into the jurisdiction of others. It follows that in today's society we seem to have been conditioned into believing we are unable. This has come from years of state taking control, and it passes through to the people who make up our society. The Labour government set this up to patronise the people. We see the government as our parents, and we then become, in a sense, perpetual children. This takes away our ability to believe in our own abilities. We then expect to be looked after by our parental governments. They have to make life okay for us all. That, to me, sounds like something from a dystopian work of science fiction which I've read, in which the government controls you by making you incredibly comfortable, that you don't see any means to think for yourself, to make a better life for yourself. And the moral of that story is it better to be happy or to be free? And she also goes on to say, we have relinquish self-determination. In a way, we have all been disabled. Confidence and determination comes from trying to be as self-sufficient as possible, of which I agree with her. That's not to say nobody in our society needs help. Of course some do, and we must do all we can for them. It's been a gradual move to taking all individual responsibility and autonomy away. We have become weakened, and the governments have become controlling and dictatorial. Fascinating. Well, this Autistic Conservative has a message to say to the government who expects to control and deliver all forms of happiness for us, specifically from the left. You cannot provide happiness for me or for my fellow autistics. We, the creatives, have brains of our own to think and build what we want to make us happy. Give us the freedom to think for ourselves, and we will build it for ourselves. The smaller the government, the more powerful the citizen. Now, moving on, I think I'd like to tell you a story about a friend of mine, Joy Morrisey, who is the Conservative Party candidate for Beaconsfield. She supports the same aspirations that I have for autistics, and she's also passionate about environmental concerns, and she's also a bit of a science geek like me. I met her last year while she was campaigning to become the Tory mayoral candidate for London. However, I think her talents will be better suited as an MP for the people of Beaconsfield, and I say to all the people of Beaconsfield, vote Joy to keep Beaconsfield blue and to bring joy and happiness to Beaconsfield. I have a catchphrase everywhere I canvass, or the places that I go. I tend to change my use of words for advocating for autistic conservatism, and the phrase I used there was support Joy for autistic conservatives. And of course she will bring joy to intellectual abilities for the self-determination of autistics and neurodiversities across Great Britain. Beaconsfield is quite a beautiful place. It was the first time I visited there, and I think it will be a good place to set up an industry to create environmental innovations in making a greener Britain. One of my aspirations in my studies of earth and environmental sciences is to launch an enterprise of some kind to help allow me to network with the private sector, where all these eccentric geniuses are building innovations to replace coal, oil and gas with hydroelectric and solar power and wind power and other green innovations across the UK. Greta Thunberg might be preaching for the world's leaders, chastising them for going green, but I, as an autistic conservative, am creating ideas to better the country by giving freedom to the scientists to build new ideas. And to do that, we need to break the monopoly of the fossil fuel sector and to give freedom to the innovators, the small ordinary business people, and the people in their sheds and who work with their hands to build these ideas. I've got a few myself. Now, let's see, moving on. Oh yes, I've recently just added a couple of new products to the Zazzle shop, carrying the Autistic Conservative logo, and I hope you'll find them. There's now a hooded top with the logo with on the back saying Autistic Conservatives support aspirational Aspies, which is a very powerful and empowering statement in itself. Now, I can see from my Facebook feed the people of Beaconsfield are out in force supporting Joy, and my good luck to you, Joy. I hope you win the Beaconsfield seat, and of course my local MP candidates in Romford, Dagenham, Raynham, Andrew Rosendale and Damien White. I'm going to be carrying on with the usual rounds of deliveries and knocking on doors and talking to people. And I'll be launching a Facebook page to link this YouTube channel to more viewers and to attract more people. However, for now, I've also got plans for more literature to be circulated for the Autistic Conservative advocacy movement, and I have crafted what is here, the Charter for Autistic Conservatives. I would like to read this to you, and with it, all autistics who support conservatives should follow. Here are the following acts of the Charter. 1. Reinvent the labour market to create jobs that can accommodate neurodivergence and other people. 2. Advance the civil rights of autistic people and other neurodivergents. 3. To enable freedom of autistics to achieve their right to self-determination in their own country. 4. To recognise the usefulness and value of autistic creatives and thinkers for the glory of mankind. 5. Banish and eliminate eugenics-based science from society. Autistics need acceptance, not a cure. 6. Make all workspaces accommodating and suitable for neurodiverse employers and employees, removing all barriers and providing suitable platforms for them to work in, thus maximising happiness and well-being. 7. Fight against prejudice towards the disabled in all different forms that undermine, infantilise, patronise and belittle them from achieving their potential. 8. The right to earn a fair and decent wage for their labour, no matter what field of work the disabled are involved. 9. Stop positive discrimination to fill diversity quotas and focus on recognising intellectual merits for neurodiversity. 10. Value innovative contributions to society or enterprise in science, art, technology or politics from autistic brains. Other fields must also do the same. 11. In the spirit of the conservative philosophy, autistic people will follow the principles of liberal economics, individual rights, accepting imperfections in people, reasoned and logical arguments, celebrating national identity and culture. And 12. Inequality is a fact of life. We should accept all classes of citizens. All forms of citizens were created unequal to each other by nature, but we must accept every living person by way our common maker did so. That last statement, inequality is a fact of life and we should accept all classes of citizens, is the motto of autistic conservatism. Well, or rather, my own autism advocacy. Because every crusade to support the disabled is more, and all other sorts of civil rights cases and social justice battles have always been about one ethnic group fighting to dominate over another. But what we should be doing is fighting to create a civil society in which all classes of citizens live in mutual harmony. And that's one of the reasons why I think we struggle to create a society where everyone is equal. Because, well, when someone comes to you and says that you should support my crusade to support my group to get better privilege, better rights that are equal to society, what it can eventually lead to is where that group will use it to get an advantage over another ethnic group. Consider the way Labour has shown support to Muslims by shutting out Jews and vilifying them. Well, that's not right and that's not fair. The Conservatives are accepting of all classes of citizens. We now have a stronger working class and middle class support, as well as support from ethnic minorities, neurodivergents and other disabled people, different religions and ethnic groups, and we all value their contributions to society, no matter how small or large they are. And one thing that I hope to see in this next term of government for the Conservatives is where we embrace equality of intelligence as well as equality of different ethnic groups of people. Right, now, from what you've heard of what I said in my charter and from the autistic advocacy movement that I've been running, I hope some of you will take kindly to write in the comments some suggestions that we can do to improve the usefulness of autistics in society by getting people to recognise them anymore. We can't always campaign for awareness. Campaign for awareness is one thing. Getting people to accept us is another. And by promoting acceptance, we're saying us autistics have value and usefulness to society. Accept us and you will have a better life. Not just simply say, this is what I am, I'm autistic, and these attributes of my disability are what you must know. Think of the usefulness and value of yourself, not just awareness of your weaknesses and inefficiencies. Right, now I'll leave it to that, and I'll see you again sometime later. This campaign for the general election has taken up quite a lot of my time, and, well, my constituents and the people who support us come first, and that's the duty of an activist in their everyday lives. So, take care, I'll see you sometime later. Don't forget to subscribe to AC Cable, and my book, A Puzzle in a Tongue, is available online, and my any autistic conservatives across the UK can buy the badge to go on their rosettes wherever they on Zazzle. Right, see you later. Bye.